Welcome back, you guys. Today we're going to be working on a Glock 20. This is a 10mm slide. These are super heavy duty. We have a lot of people reach out to us to have stuff done like optic cuts and coloring, but we don't find ourselves doing that much cut work on the 20 and 21 model slides. I think a lot of that just comes down to a lot of people steer away from these because of how heavy of a slide they are. Great opportunity to cut the slide, get some windows, weight reduction, just overall really make a change to the model and feel a little bit more comfortable using it on the daily because it weighs a lot less. Let's talk a little bit about the work. Let's go into that. Of course, we're going to show it and bring it back. Guys, one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be shaving the sides off of the slide. So we're going to keep the rear serrations where they are. We're going to start here. We're going to work our way forward. Of course, the same thing is going to happen on this side, starting from the rear serrations forward. This is all going to get shaved. We're going to work our way around the ejection side. We're going to end up doing some side windows in the front zone here. We're going to do a cobra nose, and then on the top we're going to end up doing a series of windows and diamond knurling. So we happen to have a lot of changes. We are going to see pretty good weight reduction on this slide. I'm really interested in seeing how this comes out. This is, I'm just taking a guess here. I'm thinking this is either a Gen 2 or possibly an early Gen 3. I say that because one of the reasons is the nose in the front, so that's the first indication that we're a 1, 2, or 3. The other idea is that some of the deeper serrations were on the earlier models, and also the step down in the inside where the front iron sight goes, it's almost like a circular ring, and then there's another step down. So we usually see that on the very early generation slides. Great opportunity, I think, here today to take an older model and move it kind of into a newer version of what it could turn into by doing that cut work. I think it's a great idea. You could start with a new gun and you can do the work, or you can start with an old gun and do the work, and they both come out kind of looking really nice in the end. We do happen to have some upgraded iron sights. Never heard of these guys. I don't know much about them, so we're gonna probably just review that a little bit more when that time comes, once we get that put together. So obviously you guys will get a chance to see that in the end. What does it look like? How does it work with our pattern? Great opportunity there as well. Guys, at this point, I think what we need to do is jump over to the CNC. We're gonna start with some of this cut work. We're gonna then move into coloring. I believe we're doing Glacier Silver, so that's a really cool color. And of course, things are subject to change. If something happens along the way, the pattern doesn't work, something maybe would work a little bit better. These are things that we would discuss with our customer, and then we would add that to the video, and then of course we'll discuss that a little bit more in the end when it comes back. Guys, let's jump into the cut work. Let's see what we come up with. Alright guys, now that we have completed the cut work, we ended up adding Glacier Silver to the slide. We've installed this new set of sights here. Let's just kind of go through the work. I want to discuss that a little bit more. I do have some notes about this build, just a couple of ideas, some things I want to talk about a little bit more. Let's first start with the cut work. So we ended up doing a side shave. We ended up doing triple windows with a little bit of a step down and then a cobra nose. very, very good design for weight reduction, barrel exposure. There just happens to be a lot of advantages to shaving the entire side. Of course, adding those windows to be able to see the barrel more, also to give us a little bit of a place for our fingers to go if you're doing a hand over top over the front section of the slide and want to do some sort of cycling. On the top, we ended up doing a knurl pattern, as you guys can see. That is very, very nice. I'm going to see if we can get that a little closer. We do have pictures, of course. And then we ended up doing a minor step down with 5 windows. Now, very interesting on this top. And I say that because we hadn't ever used these iron sights before. So we are building a design specific to this slide with these sights. We ended up doing a small step down, just like you see on the sides, right? And we ended up recessing it just a little right here for that front iron sight. The idea here is we didn't want the iron sight to go into that step down or into the window. So sometimes attention to detail means a lot for us when we're building something, especially when we have all the parts in hand, right? So if we build something and you get it back and you put your iron sights in and we didn't know, that's one thing. But if we're building something, we have all the pieces here, let's build them to the best of the pattern design that we can do, right? And that's exactly what we've done here. We ended up doing a deep engraving of the 10mm custom Glock. Now this happens to be a pretty aggressive engraving, so the bottom of that is a textured fill. It does stand out a little bit more. My personal opinion is I think I would probably do a color fill on it to get a little bit a two-tone-ish, whether you went with something like a tungsten, you want to stay with the gray tone, you went into a sniper gray, or maybe even into a black because you really wanted to offset tone. A lot of that's just going to come down to what is the barrel. If you're going to go with a silver barrel, you might want to leave it. If you're going to go with a black barrel, you might want to go with black. If you're going to go with a gold barrel, of course, you guys understand how this goes, you might want to go with gold. So that's kind of one of the ideas that we really don't offer color fill, and I say that because, you know, we're not really set up for that. We can't really guarantee that it's going to stay in those engravings. We've definitely done it before in the past. If you search through our Instagram, you've probably seen it. It may be something that we do offer at some point, but it's usually something that the customer would do. They're going to, you know, figure out exactly what color they want to do, and they would be able to color fill it from there. Let's talk a little bit about these sights. So once again, at the beginning of the video, we did display this a little bit more. This was a set of sights that I had never seen before. Definitely interesting and very hard going on. They do not want to go on. The front one, you know, that's not a problem. The rear one did not want to slide in, which is really interesting because it does have 2 locking set screws on the left and right of the adjustment screw. So it's really not that big of a deal. You know, it's not like it's not going to get tightened down, but it was really, really hard going in there. So there was a little bit of a fitment issue that I had to work through and lap the bottom of the iron sight. It's not uncommon for some of the more advanced sights when they're put in. Sometimes that becomes a problem. One of the issues that you do run into is this is Glacier Silver, and Glacier Silver is such a light coating, and sometimes some of that sight rubs off onto the slide. We do our best to clean that up, but it happens to be that when it is pretty much metal on metal contact, something's gonna give, right? And there we are. So we'll do our best to clean this up before it goes back out, but you can expect that with really tight iron sights that you may end up seeing some wear. It's no different than adding a barrel to the inside, flipping it over and saying, hey, I've got a rub mark in here. That's because it's metal on metal contact, and eventually the weakest point, being the coating, is going to give. With that being said, guys, really interesting on this build, a lot of weight reduction, really cool overall. I'm glad we had the opportunity to work on the 20 model since we don't work on them a lot. Glad we had the opportunity to take you guys through that project, show you a little bit more of what can be done, what you can build. You know, this is obviously a design we haven't done before. We ended up changing it up just a little bit with such a wide open window, because I really do like this window. We moved the side windows down a little bit more, giving us more structural strength in the corner, right? So the idea is that these windows probably could have came up if we were doing a single window, not so many on the top, but this was the design of the customer, so we ended up adjusting the side windows down to accommodate the top window, maximum opening for the barrel. I really do like the top, and if I was going to do it again, I would probably stick with the top, maybe do a single window, adjusting it a little bit more, so so it's a little bit different, but overall, I really do like the design. It's very cool. I could probably see this being as a pattern that evolves. It ends up being changed and altered a little bit more, just kind of depending on what is going on, whether it's 1917, 2021, 22. So I could definitely see that. Guys, if you have not been following us, I would encourage you to follow us over on Instagram and Facebook. If you have any questions, we do have a contacts tab. Guys, we've got a sale coming up. I don't know if you knew that or not, In the month of October, we are going to be doing $20 off optic cuts. So if you want to just have an optic cut done, right? You need optic, you need it colored, that's it. You're going to end up getting $20 off of that service. Now, I know some of you are thinking, because you've been following me for such a long time, that, wait, aren't you guys going to have a sale in November? Because you guys have a really late fall sale, right? Like going right into winter. And the idea to that is, yes, we will. So what we usually will run a sale closer into Thanksgiving. The idea is that a lot of you want to just have an optic cut done. So the idea is that you're going to not quite get the same savings as if you waited till November, but what you are going to be able to do is get in a month earlier and get back significantly quicker because of the amount of orders that will come in. So yeah, we do have a sale going on in the month of October. There will be a banner on the webpage. You are able to go, there's no special codes. You just add that service to the webpage and boom, you get your savings. It's not complicated or anything like that, but you do want to make sure you get it in the month, because when we roll into November, that sale will expire. So we would encourage you to participate in that, save a little bit of money. You're in, you're out, 2 to 3 business days, and you're done. So really, really cool opportunity there. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. You can call us. We've got a number on Google. Our address on Google is the correct address to our facility. If you're coming here, set up an appointment beforehand. We definitely take stuff in at the counter. You can pick it back up from the counter when it's done. Lots of opportunities to have that stuff done locally if you're local to us, such as NFN engravings, AR-15 colorings, things that you normally wouldn't ship off. That is a lot of stuff that we happen to do here at the counter. So guys, if you have any questions about anything, just let us know, and stand by, because we've got a couple more G20s coming down the line here pretty quick. So a little bit different than this one. Going to be interesting. Seems like the G20s just seem to be hitting the table as far as work goes quite often right now. So we're going to have a couple of those back to back to back. Real cool.